would be super duper ready for it to be Friday if I wasn't more ready for it to be shopping day.
Ah, that's good. So my girl's looking forward to shopping
I
day.
am. I need a caffeine infusion so I can wake up enough to enjoy it.
Sure. Well, you'll get that.
How you doing? Did you survive the trauma of me moving you to the bathroom and vacuuming your spot? Yeah, did you? Good girl. It's 70 out here this morning. It's plenty warm still. Hi. Good morning, Morris. Good morning. Still enjoying the purple ajuga there. There comes Ruby. Yeah, Wake County's having an early release day today. So Dawn's gonna go pick Johnny up at 12:10, 12:20. Because Michelle and I will be shopping. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to rub you while you were eating. Yeah, they eat breakfast and then they come and they tank up on the water. I had that in the house this morning and cleaned the green off of it. That outer edge I can never quite get right anymore, but the center part where the water really is, it's all nice and clean. I've been enjoying this tree so much this year with the little seed pods on it. It's just super pretty. I swear it didn't do this like this last year, so maybe it got to a certain maturity. It's just really pretty. Totally enjoying it. Well, Gray seemed to feel relieved from her eye drops better than little girl than nighttime. She's let me put them in them. Nighttime. Nighttime. But she's not super happy about it. And they look pretty clean this morning, but that's because she's very good at wash the paw, rub the eye, rub the eye. But she's still all lovey-dovey and eating and up and about and not acting like too much is wrong except for the eyes. Hey, Panther. Hey, buddy. How are you this morning? Are you good? Oh, I don't know if we're going to see the sun today or not. I can't tell yet. And by the time we get on Judd Parkway, we'll figure it out. Caffeine still doesn't feel like it's kicked in quite 100%, but here's hoping. Good morning, Ruby. Now she's warning me about the upcoming lane change in 13 miles. I don't need to know about it. No. Yeah, coming through that intersection, she tried to get me in the left-hand lane for my right-hand turn coming up. It was just ridiculous. Well, maybe that was for the car being slow, but there were cars in the lane next to me. So let me go in and put on the don't change lanes too much for the current drive. And I'm just going to stay out of navigation until I get closer to downtown. So, you know, till I'm within like 4 or 5 miles because of the turn. Because I just can't take it anymore. It's ruining the full self-driving experience, her trying to worry about what lane I'm in like that when she doesn't need to. As I said, I've been seeing a fair number of bolts in town, around town, coming out of town lately. Boy, I'm on the road with some really impatient people this morning. There was a Subaru WRX, I believe, behind me right when we were coming under the overpass where the speed limit changed from 45 to 55 coming out of Fuquay, and he was definitely tailgating, and someone had turned into the Dunkin' Donuts and had, you know, traffic had to really slow up for him, and he nearly hit me from behind there by the Dunkin' Donuts because I guess he didn't understand why that stupid red Tesla in front of him was braking. Well, how about for the traffic in front of me? Anyway, him and a newly tagged Mercedes were basically weaving in and out of traffic. So I'm glad that they are down the road a little bit from me now. I was not appreciating being next to them at all, in traffic with them in no particular way. I wish the dump truck wasn't in the left-hand lane, but he at least is moving this morning. This is average here, and I'm doing, Ruby didn't see the 45 sign this morning, so she didn't slow me down. Max speed is still set to 58, but we're going 52. Mostly I'm comfortable with average. I don't want to go down to chill. You know, average is probably a 4 or 5 following distance from what we're used to, the old way of labeling it, which I don't think anybody ever understand. Was that seconds? Was that an arbitrary number assigned to a distance? Was it, I don't know. So probably getting rid of the 1 through 7 that people could see was the right answer, because it, you know, really wasn't very clearly understood what each of those numbers meant. Not by everybody, certainly. As you can see, I turned off navigation. And I haven't had her tell me I need to change lanes to follow my route and try to move me for no reason, so I'm a little happier. The time for arrival was 7:30. I'll you know, after we get to a certain distance down the road, I'll have Johnny click it back, navigation back on, so we can see our time. Not really after I leave. There's not a whole lot I can do about it, except for get over here in the left-hand lane for 2 or 3 miles to go around slow-moving traffic. I signaled to get out. Yeah, I know, Ruby. That guy moved into the lane over there and caused you concern. As with most things, we tend to focus on additional things that need to be fixed, or problems, or, you know, things that aren't quite right, versus talking about the things that are good. But 2 things that are good is the car is slowing down at an appropriate speed for new speed limit signs, where the speed is reduced or increased. You know, we would enter 45 or 35 mile an hour speed limits with the last release, and it could take over a minute, 2 minutes for the car to get slowed down at 10 mile an hour, and that was probably ticketable, so that's a huge improvement. And then the cars have come a long way in the last 6 months, and even more so on this last release, with temporary crossover traffic being not panicked over, and the braking for that crossover traffic when necessary being more smooth. So those are 2 real positives that I'm seeing with this release. And also going to the right more appropriately for, you know, staying right or getting in the right-hand lane. Hopefully up here now this morning at the Lowe's, which we're getting up, which is like a couple of stoplights ahead, she won't try to get into the right turn lane because I've turned off navigation. I don't know. I suspect she's still going to try to get into the right turn lane. Because at that point, she seems not to understand that that's a turn-only lane, and I didn't ask her to turn. But we'll see. We'll see what it does. All right. Will she or won't she? Yep, she would. Yeah, I don't know. Something between maps and road markings there makes that. I don't know what she would have done if I'd have let her go over, but there's like no way the person behind me is going to let me get back. So, I can't let that happen. So until that's fixed, I'm not going to make it downtown without disengaging going this route. It's not happening. Well, I would say it's trying to burn these low clouds off. It's trying to clear up. We'll see. She wants to turn right here, and I don't want her to, so usually we're running, you know, really close on time to get there, and I don't want to go the route she wants to go, and several other factors, so I just drive over to the school. And then after I've dropped Johnny off and leave St. Monica, I've got a little more patience and a little more time. I let her try to navigate some of the downtown streets now. But I don't want to do, you know, this right on Martin Luther King and then left on Rock Quarry or Person Street or whichever. Yes, right now Person Street. That is not a nice left turn. The one it's the one down by the Bojangles where I turn left, it's a one-way street, so as long as it's green you're good. And I just prefer that turn. Don texted me that the master plan part 3 was released yesterday and he's reading it. Nothing like a little light reading first thing in the morning. Well, I guess he's been up and reading for a while now. And I just had a thought that if Tesla would allow me to save a preferred route between home and the school, for example, that my car would be able to remember the preferred route, that could solve a whole bunch of navigation issues. And I would have the ability to check the box, yes, reroute me if there's a traffic delay of more than 10 minutes, or no, don't reroute me, or 5 minutes, whatever somebody wants to make it. And it just would save a lot of issues. There might be reasons why people want to go a certain way through downtown Raleigh and the car deciding to willy-nilly go whichever, you know, way it wants because it's 5, 10, 30 a minute faster, but the person would really rather still go this other route. It would just save a lot of that, because while humans are still involved, they have a preference for routes. The car doesn't have a preference, but humans have a preference. It's just a thought. So not just a favorite place, but a route, a preferred route associated. You know, you drive it and go, yep, that's the way I wanted to go. Remember that. And somehow, I don't know, just trying to come up with ways we could get past the navigation kind of getting in the way of the beta. Because sometimes when people are upset with the beta, they're really upset with navigation. Yeah, those cars, and there's more than one at that house, they continue to feel like it's perfectly acceptable for them to illegally park there. Well, good luck, Johnny, on your AP stats exam today. He did get out on time, so that's a plus. I won't be stopped here too long. I think tomorrow, maybe, just maybe, I don't have any extra appointments or any reason why I have to rush home or rush right back out or leave early, or I really need a down day. I don't want to not go shopping, don't misunderstand. Shopping is always something I want to do with Michelle, no matter what. I mean, you know, even if I didn't feel 100%, I would still want to do it. But some of these other things, like my dentist appointment, I could, you know, do without those. Don's first comment is, I love this. Tesla's using the YSN, the sexy fleet average, which is 292 watt hours per mile, to determine the amount of energy needed for passenger cars. I love it. No one else on earth has that data, and I'm sure that's true. So, you know, Ruby's average used to be like 360 before the last MCU, and now it's been in the 350 range. Let's see what she says. Lifetime, she's currently showing 338. Of course, the 3 and the Y and the newer S and the X are going to be more efficient vehicles, right? And I did explain before that in really nice, pretty warm weather, the average is going to go down because it's averaging all these great drives in there. And in the middle of the winter, if you look at the average, it's going to be increased a little bit because it's weighing in all of the really cold, less efficient days. But, so... anyway, 292 watt hours per mile, huh? That's pretty good. That's pretty good. The more efficient, the better. You'll hear sometimes Monroe Live or Kyle or over at Out of Spec or, you know, other YouTubers talking about efficiency. And a few of the cars out there that are, they're electric and they're nice cars, but they don't have the efficiency, which, you know, if you're just commuting around town, may not be super important. If you're trying to road trip it, it would be. Or if you're looking at the bigger picture and trying to understand if it's good for the environment, good for, you know, the grid, etc., etc. Obviously, the more efficient, the better, right? So Ruby is not Tesla's most efficient car, but in comparison to a few of those other new EVs, she looks pretty darn good. And she was good for when she was built, so yeah. Don also said, and I quote, Tesla was also able to calculate the hour-by-hour electricity demand required for charging by using the Tesla fleet of cars charging data. And I asked him if there was a specific, and he said no, but like if you wanted to know what it's typical, how many cars are charging on average and what the electricity demand is between 12 and 1 each afternoon, or between 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. at night, or between 1 and 2 in the morning, Tesla could, if they wanted to share it, pop up that number for you. And I do think Kathy over at ARC had mentioned a few times, and a few other analysts, that the data, the value of the data that Tesla has collected is, you know, enormous. It's huge, the amount of data that they have, and on all kinds of things, and on sometimes things that you don't even realize that they were collecting the data on. So, well, that's good. I mean, moving forward, right, we need to have some level of understanding of the demand on the grid and normal charging habits. It's kind of like the sidewalk thing where Don said, you know, you put in a new building and you put in a couple of sidewalks at, like, say, a college campus, and then you let the kids walk around the campus, and wherever they put ruts in the grass, that's where you come and you put the sidewalks in, because they tell you where they need sidewalks and want sidewalks. Somebody would guess, oh, I think we need a sidewalk here. Well, you might still end up with a rut in the grass if you don't let the students, you know, help you figure out, give you some data to know exactly where to put them, right? It's sort of the same thing here, as people could make a lot of guesses about energy demand and charging habits and all this other stuff, but real data actually tells the story and then can be used to make plans for the future. So I think that's cool. I like that they're demonstrating the usefulness of the data that they've collected and actually have some data with which to make decisions on. So I'm gonna head to the house. I'll give Don some more time to digest the white paper, and maybe out on our walk this morning, or before we go on our walk, I'll let him make some additional comments. It sounds rather fascinating, so I'll be interested to hear his take, maybe glance at it myself, and also hear the take of Rob and over at Tesla Daily and some others on YouTube, maybe more Monroe Live, to the specifics of it. Like, what does Sandy think? That would be awesome. Maybe what does Kyle think? Although I'm not sure that he would typically comment on something along these lines, but maybe. This is just too good. I wish I was home beside Don. He says it does say that Tesla drivers charge once every 1.7 days from 60% state of charge to 90% state of charge typically. And this is in a discussion on flexible versus inflexible charging. Like, Frito-Lay has deliveries to make the next morning. They have to charge those vehicles overnight. They have to have a certain charge by a certain time. I'm kind of that way because I drive more than the average person with 100 miles a day charging. But other people, like Don, is very flexible. He could charge Tuesday night or he could charge Thursday night. You know, he can move his charging around. So we've got to understand the flexible versus the inflexible need. This is just all so cool. Johnny thinks the wrong way vehicle yesterday did what they did on purpose to get to turn into this lot here. I don't know if that could have been the case or not, but maybe. So there's a car over there in the turn lane today. Whoops. I just automatically did that. I don't know why they slowed up there. All right, well, that ruined my test. And it wasn't actually in the turn lane. It was in the other lane. That one car just really slowed unexpectedly there. I'm sure Ruby would have handled slowing too. My foot just hit the brake. It just, you know, it's hard not to be a human sometimes. So let's get across. Of course, the guy behind me with the trailer, he's coming through too. These guys with these work trailers, they are very assertive out here on the road with their trailers. You know, me and Don, if we were pulling something, we'd be driving more careful, not less careful. So it's been over 30 minutes. I've been driving home. Is it long enough that you're still reading it, or are you done with it? The Tesla Master Plan Part 3.
Right. It's still, I'm still reading it. It's long. It's detailed. I would tell you the first part, which is how much energy we use and how much we could save, and you know how much electric vehicles are going to save, how much heat pumps are going to save. I think Tesla's numbers are quite accurate. I mean, I think they're reasonable. I mean, I think their assumptions aren't wrong. And I'm going to be really careful because I'm not an expert here. But I think once it goes a little bit further down in there to the materials required and the cost, I'm not so confident that their numbers are quite. I need to study them more. I'm a little bit more skeptical of the cost. In other words, they throw out $1 trillion here and $1 trillion there, and pretty soon you're talking about real money, you know. And it's sort of like when you read the government budgets, you know. And I would tell you the latter half, when it gets into cost and how many tons of this material and that material, the mining and stuff, I'm not following it so well. It's a lot of detail and a lot of stuff in there, and it would require some really careful analysis to find out if it's reasonable. And the other thing that you should remember is that they based this modeling on the U.S. and then they multiplied it times 6 for the globally. In other words, they did all this stuff based on the U.S. Energy use. And they said that, you know, this might need to be adjusted for the rest of the world, but out of the box we're going to multiply whatever we came up with the U.S. times 6, and that's what the world's going to need globally. And so they did say that you know could easily change. So again, obviously they put a lot of work into it.
Way cool. Well, I am trying to organize another Zoom, Google Meet, whatever we want to call it or ever, with the folks that we did day 2000 with, and maybe an addition, so that we can talk about FSD 11 and what we think. You know, last time we never got to talk about FSD. We did all this talking about everything else and not FSD. So it seems timely that we talk about FSD right after this big release. All of us are back and forth behind the scenes are talking. Let's capture some of it. And then also, you know, maybe some things about the white paper.
Right.
So the master plan part 3. Yeah. So I don't know when yet, but I'm working on it.
Sure.
I'm working on it. Yeah. And you won't have to check with your boss about your availability since I'm planning it for you.
Thank you very much.
I just let you know when you need to be there.
You betcha.
We've made it up to South Park. We've just been chatting away about energy and Tesla and stuff. The guys are prepping the ball fields. Ball field 1 is ready. Ball field 2 is almost ready. He's putting down the lines now. They've dragged it. The grass is mowed. He'll have it finished up here shortly. They do a really good job, the crews do. There's nobody out here but me and Don now. The workers left, and those cars are all workers over at the church, which is totally fine now, but I'm wondering how that's going to work when the splash pad opens up. But we got 6 to 8 weeks before that happens. You know, basically open Memorial Day weekend. That week sometime. Then it gets a little more crowded over here, especially when it first opens. And especially on, you know, great splashing days. Okay, now I'm officially upset. All of these trucks are in my spot. The blue one is not moving anymore. It's like permanently parked here. So I'll have to park over here. I'm not happy. I'm officially not happy. Michelle's gonna catch up with me in a minute. I'm gonna walk through Little Angel just in case there's Lego stuff in there. Hey girl, we're here. Look, I've got Eva.
You look fantastic.
Well, the purse is pretty cool.
I love it. I love it.
I'll let you get a picture of me in a minute.
That is fabulous. You look awesome.
It's a new lounge fly.
I love it.
Although it's a small one, and I could barely fit my stuff in it.
But those are the prettiest flies.
Right off the bat, we have a cool fountain and a bunch of vintage Coca-Cola. Good things are going to happen. I like that positive attitude. That was kind of a fun book to flip through. I probably don't need to take it home, though. I guess kids now just have their phone or their iPad or something with them. But when we were little, we would be doing Mad Libs and some of these other little crossword things in the back seat, you know, when we weren't, you know, asleep or listening to music. I didn't have to battle brothers and sisters, so I'm sure some of you had to do that, though.
I did.
Yeah, I guess I was really lucky about not having other kids in the back. I had the whole back seat to myself. I never had to fight over it or nothing. You know, Don asked me yesterday afternoon, if you see one of these for 50 cents, I'd like one. Well, I'm sorry, Donnie, it's $1, but it is an old school, real metal one. I think I'll get it for you.
He's worth it.
He is. Not only could it be a kitty or small doggy stair steps, but it has built-in storage for their toys and stuff. That's actually pretty cool.
I like that.
Yeah. What do they have on it? Let's see. That's the end table sticker. I'm looking for this sticker. I don't... Whoa! 10. They wrote 10 on it. Oops. Thanks, Michelle. That is cute. I told Michelle I'm looking for another quilted apron. The one that we have is getting worn out, and it's old school. I mean, it's really it's older, so finding one at the thrift store. I just don't want something that wrinkles, and I don't want polyester, and the quilting, it lays flat very nicely, and yeah. If they have feathers, Michelle always buys them. And the pussy willow too. Yeah, I guess because we're from New Jersey, like we know what pussy willow, or Pennsylvania up north. Way cool. Or there's cotton for the show your southern pride. Very cute, but I don't bring home non-LEDs. This would be great. Johnny, we're going to state. We'd be grabbing that right on up. And this is actually kind of a cool book set. It opens up, and then there's a clock, and then if you pull it out, there's another little compartment underneath there. But I don't see any must-take-home electronics today. Too bad it doesn't say, sorry I'm late, I saw a cat or cats. Okay, whose Easter basket?
Ariel's.
Somebody's. There's no such thing as too many books, but it's way too big, and it's not a girl cut, but I like it. Okay, let the Worms song start playing in your head right now. Come on, you know the tune. Where you can find shot glasses for places that you didn't actually go to. Michelle, has Connor been in here decorating in the store today? Straw man. There's a Grogu. Grogu. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you and your family.
Thank you. Well, Don got Johnny no problems. He also bailed me out and brought Michelle's Easter goodies and dropped it off on his way to get Johnny. Climbing on in the car, kept the chocolate in good shape, so that was good. Always gotta appreciate climbing on when it's warm out. And well, Ruby says it's 94. I don't think it's 94. It could definitely be 80 something though. She'll cool off here in a minute as we go down the road. Let's see. Johnny's not doing Taekwondo tonight because he did Taekwondo the last 3 nights, and he's doing Taekwondo tomorrow. The testing on Wednesday was non-usual, and he went Monday for extra practice to make sure he had his form down okay. So it should be a quiet evening. I have not decided what to do for dinner yet, though. I don't have a good dinner plan. I put on a piece of meat to marinate yesterday, but I really didn't want to cook it today because I'd like to do at least a 48-hour marinade. So I don't know. I might change up my mind and do it anyway. We'll see. Got to figure out dinner when I get home. Not get too distracted. It's going on 2:30. We were in there a long time today, which I love. I hate to leave. I walk around one more time. I make one more loop just to, You know, because I don't want my time with Michelle to end. I just am having such a good time in the store. I'm not in any rush for it ever to be over. And then today it was nice because we didn't have to fret about, her kids are actually on spring break this week, and the two youngest, Ariel and Connor, went to Pennsylvania to visit family, to hang out with their niece, their cousin, I guess, their cousin, Michelle's niece. And they'll be back tomorrow. Their uncle picked them up and dropped them off, so that was really convenient. So they had them a spring break away from home. Had a good time. The gentleman is doing some finishing touches on the mural. We have rain coming in tonight, and then I think either Friday or Saturday one is going to be a washout, so still supposed to cool back down. So Ruby's down to a whole walloping 90 now. It was hot in the parking lot standing on the asphalt for the little bit that we talked.
Pretty good. Your mom sent you something to drink.
Did you drive to Circle of FSD?
Yeah, it didn't do well at all.
So I don't think that's super surprising. I know that pretty well.
Yeah, didn't do too bad. Yeah, it's got it keeps trying to get in the right lane when it's not really it's a turn lane. It did that like 3 times, and it flat tried to drive through that roundabout down there. I had to take control. It had one cone on it, but it was definitely trying to drive through it. Just a little bit. It's kind of flying up to me like a bat out of hell. Waited a little late to get over. It kind of got over in the far left lane, and when it had to do a right turn, and it did a lot of futzing around, but it did get over. There was so much traffic, other than the fact that it sat there with its blinker on for quite a bit of time. Like it's fixing to do down here. Maybe not. Maybe it's going to get over. It knows to get over. Yeah, like a engraved invitation. There you go. I'd definitely say it's a little better. I mean, it seems to be more confident. For sure. I don't know what my settings are. I don't think I have it on aggressive. I think I got it just on moderate, or the medium. Not the chill, and not the
It's chill, average, assertive, I think.
yeah, chill. I think I have it on average.
Doesn't it need to get over one more time?
No, not until it gets past this more square down here. But yes, it will eventually get over one more time, I think. But down here, I believe this around the Capitol, that lane turns into a left-only lane. I think. I'm using my memory now myself. was trying to do that, but you know, that's what most people would not do that. And it didn't do it either. It's probably almost impossible to make that left turn and stay in this lane.
Probably have to have a motorcycle or smart car or something.
Yeah, it takes pretty small, tight turning radius. Wow, that was pretty good. That's exactly what I would have done. Let's see if it figures out how this lane shifts. Wow, it had a 50-50 choice in it. I don't know which one's the correct lane to have chosen. I thought it was that one. Speed limit through here is 35. Now it goes up to 45.
My bestie really went overboard on my Easter basket. Look at this guy, so cute. Can I see nighttime? You're a good girl. This guy is just so cute. And astronaut man. I like that. I don't know that I had seen that astronaut guy, but I'm going to have to build. I think that's what I'll choose to build. I have a shuttle he can go along with. That's pretty cool. There may have been a piece of jewelry too. I still like Butcher Box, and we're still getting Butcher Box, but I'm trying Wild Pastures for a second time. They had a good deal, and yeah, I have to say that the Butcher box is a little more stable. But let me open it up. I'm sure with the dry ice, I think it shipped yesterday. It should be good. It's fine down in here. There's the dry ice. And lots of padding, and everything is 100% still frozen. So all's good. Hey, Marty Cat. Well, don't let me interrupt you. Mr. Man's here on the back step. And Stripe was underneath the bench until right there close to Tux until the UPS guy came. It was our regular driver. It's a nice young kid. I like him. He's friendly. I like drivers that are sociable. I don't have a lot of time, but then this thing is only 155 pieces, so I'm going to put it together and then make dinner. I feel the need to click a few bricks together. Don and I had a nice nap. Unfortunately, I'm in the wow, I just don't know if I feel like I woke up mode. I hung with the kitties, and Stripe's in here now eating a bit, and Tuck's got a lot of attention, but I feel like I'm not all the way woke up, and I already had another cup of coffee. I got them built, and they are adorable. For some reason, my time lapse wasn't going, even though I would swear that I started it. Oh well. Time to start on dinner now. It's just a little after 7.